Good morning, everyone. I'm going to say a phrase, and it's from a movie. I'm just curious to see if anybody knows the movie. Feed me. Feed me. Feed me Seymour is the rest of it, yes. What movie is it? Anyone? Little Shop of Horrors. And you're like, oh, Father, you're mentioning Little Shop of Horrors at Mass. Well, I want to get that phrase into our mind and into our heart. Well, actually, it's already in your heart. Feed me. See, every single human being deeply desires to be in communion with another person. A person who wants to give themselves completely to you. It's the deepest desire of our heart, to be in communion. That is the image in which you and I have been created. We are created in the image and likeness of God, who is a perfect communion of persons. And so the fundamental disposition in our heart, feed me. Let's unfold that in just a moment. Let's do a little bit of a review. I wasn't with you last week because I was on vacation. A couple weeks before that, you heard the message go out. I don't want to hear it. Oh, Father, he starts talking about money. I don't want to. Oh, you get all fired up now. Yeah, all right. Tithing, 10%. I got to take, I have to live on 90% of what God gives me in my cooperation with Him. Okay, it's not a hoop to jump through to say that you're a good person. It's God saying, be free so that you're not possessed by your possessions. You don't need to give 10% to the church. Give something to the church because we have the temporalities of the church we have to be taken care of. Give something to the church and then give something to the other things that you see that there are true needs. I challenge you, I hope and I pray that somebody took up the challenge and started to give 10% just over a month. It's so liberating. If you haven't done that, I encourage you. Okay? I don't want to hear it. La, la, la. La, la, la. Oh, we got some kids here. La, la, la. I don't want to hear it, Mom and Dad. La, la, la. Okay? The reality is that God is trying to free us. Remember St. Irenaeus? The glory of God is the person fully alive. That's what God wants for you and me. He wants us to be fully alive. He wants us to be fully free. Start talking about relationships. Oh, I don't want to hear it. No relations before marriage, same-sex attraction, transgender dysphoria. You start talking about that and people, I don't want to hear it. Are there disordered persons? No. No, everybody's a child of God. There are no disordered persons. There are disordered desires. All of us, whether they're heterosexual or same-sex attraction, we all have disordered desires. Is there somebody out there that does not have a disordered desire? Liar. Okay? We all have them. All of us. So, this is the principle, and it's coming from a standpoint of reason, and it's confirmed in faith. You never find peace by following a disordered desire. Get that in your head. It's already there through reason, and we know it in our hearts. We never find peace by following a disordered desire. La la la, la la la, I don't want to hear it. And yet it's there through the clarity of reason and confirmed in our faith. I can think of two people that I still struggle with. I mean, lifelong Catholic, Catholic university, 5 years of seminary, 15 years of priesthood, I still struggle at least with two people. Two people I struggle to forgive them. It's a process. Who do you struggle with? Who's that person in your heart? You're like, I am not going to forgive that person. La, la, la. Okay. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. So, the 2 weeks before then, it was, I taught all of us how to catch a monkey. All right? So now you know how to catch a monkey. I taught you 4 years ago, but you didn't remember. All right? So you take a coconut, you secure it, you bore a hole in it just enough so that the monkey can stick his hand in there, put some rice or a nut or something like that, and he'll grab a hold of it, and he won't let it go. And who is that? Who's the monkey? You and me. What is it? What can't you let go? I'm thinking to myself, I've got a few things that I'm holding on to. So again, this isn't a moment of shame. It's a moment of invitation to realize, yeah, I struggle with that. I don't want to hear this, and I'm holding on to this. And there is the beginning, when we can be honest with ourselves, and then we can say, Lord, I don't really desire to move forward, but I desire to move forward. That's a great prayer. And that moves us forward. Brings us to today, where he's, feed me. So if you don't know the movie, it's this person-eating plant. And it's yelling out to Seymour to feed him kind of human beings. A kind of a silly type of thing. Nevertheless, it's something that you have a hard time forgetting, and that's why I bring it up. See, because it echoes what's in your heart and mind. I want to be fed. That is to say, I don't want to be alone. I want to know true love. I want to feel embrace. I want to be in communion with somebody who loves me. We're starting this discourse of John on the Eucharist. And this is what he says. He gives himself to us. He feeds us. There are so many people that leave the Catholic Church, I'm just not being fed. Okay? They don't know. They have no idea what is here. Okay? Perhaps they're not catechized. Perhaps they had a bad experience. Okay, I'm not judging them, but what I am saying is there is nothing, no other place where you can be fed like this. Who started the Lutheran Church? Who? Luther? Oh, okay. All right. That was an ecclesiastical community that he started, and every other ecclesiastical community after that, you can say, this person started it. Who started the Catholic Church? Jesus Christ. There's something very important there. The point that I'm making is that he gives himself body, blood, soul, and divinity. He feeds us with his very self. Okay? All of our children know these fundamentals. Okay? If I ask them, I won't put them on the spot. Well, I might put them on the spot. But if I ask them, what's a contract? They would say an exchange of services. So you do this for me, and then I'll do this for you. All right? That's not what God asks for you and me. He wants a covenant. You hear it in the words of institution. This is my blood, the blood of the new and everlasting. The new and eternal covenant. So if I ask them what a covenant is, they would say it's a total gift of self. They know. What's more, feed me, the deep desire that we have is for somebody to love us in such a way that they will pour themselves out for us. Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want somebody to say, I love you so much, I'm just gonna take my whole afternoon and I'm gonna do this for you. Anybody know the O word that I'm talking about that means pour themselves out? Yeah? Okay. Rachel? Yes. Say it nice and loud.
Oblation.
Oblation. You're going to hear it in the third Eucharistic prayer. He pours himself out. He gives himself completely to us. Now, you have to have the eyes of faith. Each of us receive it in our baptism and our confirmation. This past couple weeks I was on vacation. I spent the first week with my dear, dear mother, whom I love very much, and also my sister and my 3 nephews. My niece wasn't able to join us. Then I went down to North Carolina to some friends of mine. I've known them well before I entered seminary. Now, there with them, the husband, Jack, he had an uncle, Father Uncle John. And John was like me. He entered the Navy, had a good time in the Navy, and he transitioned into the priesthood in the Franciscan order. When I met him, I don't know how old he was. I think he was in his late 70s, and that was in the early 2000s. But Father Uncle John was one of those guys who went from sinner to saint. And he's bald, he was missing some teeth, and was the most beautiful human being you could be around. I'll tell you, when he said the Mass, it was like a child. This is my body given for you. And he would raise it up. And just being enthralled with this deep connection that he had with the living God that was being made present. This is my blood, the blood of the new and eternal covenant. He died this week. Uncle John, Father Uncle John. I think he's before the Lord. I'll offer the Mass for the intention of this Mass, and also in pectoralis. The priest can offer additional intentions. I'll be offering the Mass for him, for the repose of his soul, and also the family. But I have to believe that he is before the face of God, and that there's no more veil for him. It's not just, it looks like bread, it smells like bread, it tastes like bread, but it's truly Christ feeding us and giving himself to us. He now is in the full embrace. Feed me. We all desire it. But do we have the eyes of faith to see that in the Eucharist he does indeed feed us?